Good evening, folks, and welcome to Citizens of the World. As you know, we are, all of us, the residents of a swiftly shrinking globe, where what was once local is fast becoming global, and our decisions and opinions resonate well beyond our own borders. I thank you for joining me each week, your host, Al Zucaro, from the epicenter of the Western Hemisphere, Boca Raton, Florida, in sunny South Palm Beach County, for a pointed look at politics, immigration, culture, and what it means to be a citizen of the world. And today we're going to actually do a little deviation, and I know we've talked a little bit about this over the last few months or so, but the Palm Beach International Film Festival kicks off actually today, the 12th of April, and lasts till the 19th of April. And there are a number of other items going on in our county, so I thought it would be a very good opportunity to invite Mr. Chuck Eldred, the film commissioner from Palm Beach County, to chat with us a little bit today. And as you can see, he's here. And thank you, Chuck, for joining me.
Hello, Al. It's good to be here.
It's a pleasure to see you, even though technology is not treating us well today.
Looks pretty good so far, though.
Chuck, I'd like to just set the stage a little bit. You have been the film commissioner now for as long as I can remember. And you have a deep history in television and radio and in broadcast. You have taken an industry that was embryonic and made it into something specific and substantial here in Palm Beach County. And over the last 17 years, the International Film Festival has been part of that development. So with a little bit of history and a little bit of background, could you give us some analysis as to the film festival and then as to the industry itself in this county and how it's grown and where you see it going?
Well, you're very kind, Al, and I'm very privileged to be part of the growth of our film and TV industry here since 1989, actually. And the idea that the county and this community saw fit to try and build this business is a tribute to its vision for the future. Because certainly it's not just about motion pictures. What we've evolved into is film, television, and internet technology, which has taken our industry to a whole new another level, bearing in mind that you and I would not have been able to do this 22 years ago. So we are indeed the beneficiaries of not only the advancement of technology in a wondrous way that more and more people can participate in, but something that Palm Beach County had an eye on as long ago as over 2 decades. The idea of going into the film and TV industry that included the elements of the film festival. We look at education programs such as the G-Star High School of the Arts with its own motion picture studio. We look at the growth of our own community in the way of crew base. This was all a design to put in place what we call the infrastructure, if you would bear with that word, because I know in our media we don't necessarily look at government or bureaucratic words, but that's entirely what it is. The concept of a film commission back in 1989 was to literally welcome motion pictures into the community and to help them feel that they were able to accomplish their needs on time and on budget. That would be through permitting. Since then, we have grown into having those facilities, the crew, the talent, and the education programs right here in our backyard. And one of those essentials is a film festival that is really regarded in a worldwide environment, and that would be the Palm Beach International Film Festival.
Well, as you know, you and I have gone down a lot of paths together over the last decade or so, and film and television is a very important industry. If I remember my statistics correctly, we do in excess of $100 million a year in film production and the economic impacts of that. Is that still an accurate number?
Not only is it an accurate number, we grew, in spite of the economy over the last few years, to 108 million. We had a 10% growth last year, and cumulative, over the last 22 years, we've been able to identify production revenue in Palm Beach County at $1.78 billion. So it is a significant number, and not only if would we not know that number, we wouldn't have the ability to even do this broadcast if we didn't have a film commission in place. So it is a tribute to the community and volunteers like yourself to participate in this program.
Now, you mentioned the word earlier, student focus. I know that you have a student showcase. We did that maybe a month or so ago down here at Lynn University in Boca Raton. Give a little bit of the history of the student showcase and what it is designed intellectually to accomplish.
The concept of the Student Showcase of Films actually was something that came out of the Palm Beach International Film Festival's business plan. And as a partner with the Palm Beach International Film Festival, we felt that we were in a position to help guide the student part of it in a way that most film festivals wouldn't be able to do. And on top of that, it helped the film festival have a partner that was identifying beneficiaries, students as beneficiaries, while they went on and built a film festival that had worldwide respect. A Student Showcase of Films is quite simply an annual competition where the students in the state of Florida, from college down to high school, compete for prizes for their schools, and the Student Showcase itself is a live theatrical presentation at Lynn University, and it has been there for the last 2 years, and they've invited us back next year. Much like the Oscars, in that the students have a chance to have their own clips shown on stage in an entertaining environment. It is a part of the Palm Beach County School program, which makes it much more unique than at most any other film festival or student showcase. And it awards these prizes when, and also after they are awarded, they get to have their films screened in the Palm Beach International Film Festival itself. So it's quite an honor for students to win the first place prize.
Outstanding. I want to focus a little bit more on education. A lot of our educational institutions here in Palm Beach County offer film as a curriculum. We have digital media coming in. We have animation coming in. There's a lot of new technologies that are finding a home in Palm Beach County. But I want to specifically focus on G-Star. You mentioned that. G-Star is a charter high school. It's unique in Florida. It may be unique in the world in that it offers film producers access to their facilities, which are a full production facility, at no charge, in exchange for allowing the students the opportunity to to groom their skills in film and television. Is that a good synopsis of it?
That's absolutely the case. It is literally a public high school where there is no tuition. It's free to the students as part of living in Palm Beach County. And it is the best part of business because it is as a charter high school. It stands on its own, and students are free to choose to go there in lieu of going to one of the schools they might be scheduled to go to as public high school students in Palm Beach County. And the beauty of this program is that the student body grew from 300 over 1,000 now. There's a standing line to get into the school. The kids do an outstanding job in their testing in all other subjects. And on top of that, in the way of other arts programs, this is strictly designed for film and television, where these young people learn and own the careers of film and television. And I have to tell you, Al, I think that is one of the most outstanding experiences of my years in being a film commissioner, that you walk on that campus and it's not these students studying to be film and TV professionals. They literally own their career while they're in school. They know it's of something of value. They prize it, they protect it, and they choose wisely as far as students. They teach each other, they mentor each other. They are every bit the kind of professionals that we would like to see preparing for getting out on their own. And on top of that, they're winning awards, and they did very, very well this year at the Student Showcase of Films.
Outstanding. Let's talk a little bit in the last couple of minutes about the film festival. Just so our audience knows, they can find it at www.pbifilmfest.org. Now, the film festival is celebrating its 17th annual presentation, and Randy is moving forward. Tonight's the opening night, and all sorts of activities going on. It brings people from all over the country and all over the world to Palm Beach County. And we also have an experience this year where a winner from last year, Michael King, and Michael King Productions, is now showing this week 2 times his movie, The Rescuers, at Palm Beach State College. So there's a lot of interaction between education and film festivals and film. You've already talked about that, but will you participate in the film festival this year, and does that help with the economics of the Film and Television Commission?
We are extremely proud of the Palm Beach International Film Festival being in its 17th year, and Randy Emmerman, who makes it a matter of her priorities to have local films featured in this film festival. And that is the essence of what a film festival should be. It should really be that showcase, that opportunity for people to participate in the art form. It's the finished product. The film commissions are more in the economic development area, more into helping nurture the industry and its growth. The festival literally is that celebration of the success of our citizens and welcoming others to come in with their own films and share that art form and where you wouldn't see it anywhere else. And that's the beauty of this film festival, being designated top 10 in destination film festivals by Movie Maker magazine. So quite a tribute to Randy and her crew when they are able to accomplish this year after year. Last
night we had a preview. It was in the Movieco Theater in City Place to a packed house in the Lodge Theater. Was a first-time showing of Ethel, a documentary about the life of Ethel Kennedy. It was quite fabulous. It really was. We enjoyed it very much. Well, Chuck, I want to thank you very much for taking the time here today and spending a little moment talking about film and television as an industry and giving me the opportunity to interview you on that subject. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be leaving this for a break. This segment, of course, has been brought to you by Fugazi International Travel, and you can reach Fugazi International at the address that will be on the ad in a minute, and we will return in just a few moments. Thank you. Welcome back, folks, and thank you for taking the time again. As you know, we have 3 basic themes that we try to capture on a weekly basis. So this segment is going to be immigration and economic development. And as you know, I'm an immigration attorney. You can view my website at www.alzucaro.com. And we try to talk about some topical issue with regards to immigration inside the theme of the show. So in the last segment, we talked about film and television and the film festival. So I thought it would be interesting to give an overview on 2 particular temporary visa categories that allow people to travel across the border that have some connection to entertainment and to the arts and to filmmaking. And the first visa that I want to talk about is the letter O, visa, V-I-S-A. And I suggest that anyone who's be interested in this could easily go out to the USCIS or Department of Homeland Security website, use their search engines, and type in visa category O, and you'll get a background on this information. But primarily, it's defined as a person who has extraordinary ability in the sciences, arts, education, business, or athletics, which has been demonstrated by sustained national or international acclaim. And if it has to do with motion pictures and TV production directly, the person must have, quote, a demonstrated record of extraordinary achievement, close quote, provable, quote, through extensive documentation, close quote. Now, the reason I use the quotes is because those set up as the test, the most critical elements that need to be demonstrated in preparing an application. When one uses an application from Homeland Security for any type of temporary visa, it looks like a relatively innocuous series of questions and answers, but there is a lot of depth that needs to be demonstrated to support the assertion and the facts that will be contained on the application and demonstrate that the person meets certain criteria. And those criteria are often determined by case law and by application over the course of the years. So when one looks to how do you prove this issue of extensive documentation and extraordinary achievement, there are some very basic places that you begin to go to. You look first in terms of whether this person has been a lead or the initiator of production in the area that they are an expert in. You look to see if they have critical reviews on a national and international level so that the industry and their peers within the industry have recognized some of their works and given them the proper acclamations. You see if they are the heads of their own organizations or are underlings. Certainly if somebody like Michael King Productions with The Rescuers that's playing this week in Palm Beach County, it's his production company. He clearly is the gentleman or the person in charge of its accomplishments. You look for the major successes. Where is the films and the production shown? What awards has been awarded, etc., etc. Is the person recognized in their field? Maybe it's a little bit redundant to what I've already said. And then finally, you look to the kinds of compensation that this person commands for his work and show that this is the top of the field. Those are the general categories that one would look to with regards to getting this done. Little less used, but certainly within the realm, because it has to do with entertainers, would be the P visa. That's the letter P, visa. And the P visa is persons who perform as an athlete individually or as a part of a group or team that is internationally recognized, or a person who performs with or is an integral, essential part of an entertainment group that has been recognized internationally as being outstanding in the discipline for a sustained and substantial period of time. Now, it's a stretch to think in terms of a P visa because it's really designed for athletes, but because of that second part of the sentence, a person who performs with or is an integral part of an entertainment group, motion pictures, performers, etc., could conceivably fall within that category. I don't use that primarily. Primarily, I look to the O visa, but the levels of proof, the types of proof remain the same. Once you have determined which strategy, once I would have determined which strategy to follow, identifying the supporting documentation follows the same basic patterns that we talked about before. So my effort today was to talk a little bit about the O and the P visa, to draw the link and show you the application, particularly inside of an event like the Palm Beach International Film Festival, which has filmmakers from all around the world here on a temporary basis. Now, of course, some may have entered the country under the B1 visa because they were coming to attend an event and they aren't actually here working or producing anything. But the fact of the matter is there are various categories within the immigration selection which allows for people in these industries to cross the border and participate. So with that said, I want to thank Palm Beach Investment and Finance and Palm Beach Regional Center for bringing this episode forward, and we're going to take another short break and we will be back in just a moment. Well, here we go, folks, into my favorite section of the broadcast, fireworks in politics. You may have read in your local newspapers that earlier this week, President Obama appeared at our largest university here in Palm Beach County. He was at Florida Atlantic University and he was addressing a crowd of students, somewhere estimated in the area of about 4,500 young, impressionable minds. And some of the commentators are using the phrase double down on his notion of the Buffett tax and the idea that rich people should pay the same tax rate as ordinary folk, and wants to raise and uses Warren Buffett as the model. Allegedly, Mr. Buffett, on the majority of his income, pays less than 15% tax on capital gains, which is how he earns his money, versus his secretary, who pays a 30+% on her incomes because it's ordinary income. It's a great civic lesson, particularly for students who actually want to know the truth and not simply the rhetoric. First of all, wealthy people that earn their money on capital gains have invested money that they have already paid taxes on once before. And the notion that they should pay less taxes for incomes on their savings is designed in part to support a public policy that allows for investment, encourages investment, and hence encourages growth. So it's mixing apples and oranges, and it is clearly misleading. Second issue, what the president doesn't tell them is that none of this money, even if it were to be imposed upon the top 1%, would go to paying down any of the debt. He said in his speech that it would go to allowing for more programs and more benefits within the educational system. There is no plan in place that any of this money from taxing the rich at a higher rate would do anything to impact the deficit. In fact, it is arguable that it would only, if it were to be applied to the debt, would only apply to about 6 or 8 or 10 days worth of interest payments over the course of a year. So there is no serious issue there. It's clearly propaganda, and hopefully some of the political science majors and others will actually begin to see through this false premise and this basic attack on separating classes of people. So I bring that out because it is the beginning of the campaign. It clearly is moving forward, and the president is in full campaign mode. I just wish that his campaign would pay for all of the costs associated with these trips rather than on the taxpayer dime. Talk about wasting money. Listening to him is a waste of money. Kudos and Chaos. Port of Palm Beach. Haven't talked about them recently, but received a press release from them the other day, dated April 9th, and they did something very unique there. They were chosen to move a special cargo plane from the port, and it was done by the aircraft owner and pilot and loaders of the Netherlands-based 7-Star Yacht Transport were present at the port as the aircraft were loaded aboard by a highly skilled loadmasters and shipped out of the Port of Palm Beach. We are beginning to demonstrate. Our port here is a small port. It's one of the 14 deep water ports in the state of Florida. It is small compared to Miami and Port Everglade, but the fact of the matter is that we have capacities here. We have some specialty opportunities here, and watch out, folks, in the near future we're going to have an intermodal distribution center, or in other words, an inland port in the southwest sector of Palm Beach County out near Lake Okeechobee, and looking forward to that in the very near future. I was in a good mood today. I didn't do any KOs, but I do want to do a double kudu. There is a local artist here in Boca Raton. Her name is Tia Crystal. And you can reach her at tiacrystal.com. She is an incredible young lady with a ton of talent. And recently, she published that there was an article published that Tia takes New York by storm, and you can see this on her website. And she has been featured at the Art Expo in New York between March 22nd and 25th on Pier 92 in New York City. So congratulations to Tia for taking her talents to a higher level and for remaining a personality here in Boca Raton. Have two announcements I'd like to make. The incoming trade mission from the Dominican Republic to South Florida, done by the Florida Foreign Trade Association, is scheduled for next week on April 17th in the Miami Free Zone. I encourage anybody interested to do that. And the American Linkage Program, the Florida Chamber of Commerce, is heading to Panama City, Panama, April 25th to the 27th. And the argument is that Panama has become a world-class international trading, banking, and service center, and with the new trade agreements, it's time to move there and start doing business there. So with all of that said, I'd like to bring us to closure by reminding you that we are, all of us, the residents of a swiftly shrinking globe, where what was once local is fast becoming global, and our decisions and opinions resonate well beyond our own borders. I thank you for joining me each week, and for this pointed look at politics, immigration, culture, and what it means to be a citizen of the world. Good night now.